Hello friends! Welcome back to another episode of Reddit, I Don't Work Here Lady, where people continue to get mistaken for employees when they aren't. I've got some more stories that I'm sure you'll enjoy. As always, I hope you stay for the stories today and subscribe for future videos. Just because someone's standing on a corner does not mean that they're working, if you know what I mean. This story's titled, "This is not my street corner." It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was wearing sweats, hair in a ponytail, when I took a break from studying to walk 2 blocks to the grocery store for a snack. Plastic grocery bag in hand, and was waiting to cross the street when I saw a decent-looking guy in his 50s, wearing a gray suit, approach me. He said hi, and being the polite person that I am, I said hi back as I waited for the cars to go by. He said, "Do you work?" I was momentarily confused by his question. I had clerkship with an attorney which paid money, so I said, "Well, I have a job." He replied, "What are you doing right now? You got some time?" I said, "I'm going home to study for law school, so not really." He stammered, "Oh damn," and stomped off. Oh my god, dude. Just because a lady is on a street corner doesn't mean she's working it on a goddamn Sunday at 2 p.m. Have you ever called a place multiple times, convinced that it's the place you're trying to reach? Probably not, because most people have common sense. This story's titled, "Stoner Calls Me, Thinking I'm a Pizza Place." I'm not sure if this counts, but a few years ago, I kept getting calls from someone thinking that I was the local pizza place. I'll tell my story anyways. So after a nice day of hanging out with my friends, we all got in my car and started to head home. As soon as I sat down, I got a phone call from an unknown number. I'll call the person on the other end RG. The conversation went like this. I said, "Hello. Yeah, is this some pizza place?" "No, sorry, you have the wrong number." "Okay, sorry about that," and hangs up. I had that number for about 4 years at that point, and had no idea why I got that call. From what I knew at that time, the pizza place had a very different number. In fact, it was mostly the same number repeating itself, like number 5, 4555, or something like that. My phone was just random numbers. But my story doesn't end there. About 5 minutes later, I get a call again from the same number, but I didn't realize it because I answered the first time almost immediately. I said, "Hello. Yeah, is this pizza place?" "No, sorry, you have the wrong number." "Oh, dang. Sorry about that." Hangs up. I look at my call history and notice that it's the same number. My first thought was, this guy is probably really high. 2 minutes later, I get the call again, but I recognize the number and decide just to ignore it. Then, I get the call again, and again, and again. I ignore it every time. After about the 5th time ignoring it, I decide, what the hell, I'll just humor him and see what happens. So I answer the phone. "Hello. Yeah, is this pizza place?" "Yes. How may I help you today?" "Cool. Can I get 2 large pepperonis and breadsticks?" "Sure. Would you like to add on a 2-liter drink? You guys sell those? What kind do you have?" Not really sure which to say, but confident that this guy is high enough to believe anything. I said, "Oh, we got the basics. Coke, Sprite, root beer, and, those kinds." "Okay, I'll take a Sprite." "Excellent. Can I get an address?" "Yeah, hold on." He looks for mail because he can't remember his address. And he said, "Okay, it's 420 Blazeit Drive, Weed MJ 42420. He didn't actually say that, I just made it up. "All right, we will get that to you in 30 minutes or less. Thank you, and have a nice day." He responds, "Cool, thank you." Hangs up. Hopefully, that 2-minute conversation was enough for him to leave me alone for at least 45 minutes, while he either fell asleep or lost his buzz. I didn't even ask for a name or tell him what the total was. I never heard from him again. My friends all ask me what that was about, and I tell them what happened. They laughed a bit and we just went home. Sometimes it's great to just humor someone and be nice when you're mistaken as an employee. This story's titled, "Where do you keep your milk and cereal?" On Tuesday, I was grocery shopping at my favorite supermarket, at which I do seem to get mistaken for staff sometimes, though I dress like the middle-aged frump I am. As I walked past a man, he asked if I could read the text on a little note he had. It was the appointment card from his doctor's office that said he's to come in Thursday at 2:15, but the print was too small for him to read it. Once I told him, he had a hard time remembering that it was for Thursday, so I repeated several times. No, it's Thursday at 2:15. Finally, he told me his name was Jerry and thanked me. As I began to walk away, he asked, "Say, where do you keep your milk?" I was tempted to say, "In my fridge, of course," but I was gonna buy milk myself, so I told him I'd show him. Once there, I gestured to the milk coolers, and a different man, NJ for not Jerry, asked, "What is 2% milk?" Taken aback, I replied, "That's the fat content," to which NJ said, "No, I mean, which of these is the 2%? I pointed. NJ grabbed it, thanked me. Then I turned back, and he asked, "And where do you keep your cereal?" As you can imagine, I was quite tempted to say, "In my kitchen cupboard," but instead looked around and waved. "Looks like aisle 8. Back to Jerry, patiently waiting. He asked me which milk to get, so I recommended 1%. He hoisted a gallon, then was on his way. And thank you for telling me that my appointment is Wednesday at 2:15. I had to bellow down the aisle after him. "No, Jerry, your appointment is Thursday at 2:15. I hope Jerry was at his appointment at 2:15 today. What would you do if someone tried to get your attention by covering your phone screen or trying to take your phone away? This story's titled, "I Don't Have to Be Nice." So this was just fun. At lunch, a few minutes ago, had to run by a local sporting goods store. Apparently, every new sport my kid does requires new clothes and accessories, so I'm pursuing volleyball knee pads. Who even knew that was a thing for 9-year-old kids? I got my phone Googling to figure out what size I need. And this woman walks up next to me, snorts, and says, "Well, that's not very professional." I ignored her, as in this area there's something called the Seattle Freeze, where we don't talk to random people in stores, as they might be either A, crazy, or B, want to start a conversation with you. Well, she proceeds to stick her hand in front of my phone screen and say, "Didn't you hear what I just said?" I looked up and big surprise, middle-aged woman, wearing spandex that's screaming, "Ow, ow, ow, stop, I give up," a $200 workout jacket over it, and a foul look on her face. I said, "Don't cover my phone screen. What do you want anyway?" She starts in about my outfit and how unprofessional it is. In honor of St. Patty, I'm wearing a green flannel shirt, a t-shirt with shamrocks that says, "Conserve water, drink beer," jeans, and a hat with a green Triforce on it. I look down and say, "Okay, but who cares? My boss doesn't give a shit, so why should it matter? You should really mind your business." And I look back at my phone, trying to understand why a 4'6" kid wears a medium, but a 4'7" kid wears a small. She puts her hand on my phone and tries to knock it out of my hands. I responded, "Lady, I appreciate your concern, but I'm not really interested in your opinion. Now get your hands the fuck off me before you lose them." Well, she shrieks and says, "What did you just say to me? You can't talk to me that way. Get me your manager, now." At that point, I got where she was coming from and quickly said, I see your problem. I don't work here." Well, she's beyond listening. She's got a whole rant going. Store manager comes up to see what's going on. I totally ignore her, and before she can say anything, I ask, "Hey bro, do you know anything about kids' volleyball pads? I'm lost here, and this chick freaking out isn't helping." You could literally watch the gears in her head churn. She finally realized that I didn't work there, and turned purple in the face. Wasn't even red. Purple. Thought she was gonna die. I asked, "Lady, are you okay?" She squeaked and ran out of the store. Told the manager what happened. He laughed and gave me 10% off. This story involves someone that thinks they have more power than they do in their company. This story's titled, "I Got Fired Today." I browsed this sub, and I'm always impressed at how dumb some people can be. Today, however, was truly baffling. First, my actual job is driving a truck. Today, I went about 200 miles to drop off a tank and pick another one up. I was told would be several hours before my return tank was clean and ready. I came down with a cold yesterday and slept for an extra hour, so I didn't make breakfast or lunch for today because I was tired and a bit late. I decided to leave my trailer there and go find a place where I could get some food and cold medicine. Well, I found a place. I pulled in and parked pretty far away, as I take 4 spots, and wouldn't want someone to complain. As I went in, I noticed a bus from an old folks home outside. I found my way to the pantry section to look at what food was available, and was kindly asked a question by one of the nice people from the nursing home. I spent a good 30 minutes talking to them and helping them out because I had nothing better to do anyway. They were also clearly very happy to have someone to talk to. I should probably mention that I didn't have a cart because I was only getting a few things. I think it's also important to note that I was dressed like a hobo because I work with chemicals, and even though the ones I personally handle are relatively safe. So yeah, I look like a hobo when I work. A well-dressed lady walked up to me and basically thrust her crap pile of papers into my chest and said, "Follow me to my car." I was a bit confused, and unfortunately for me, I wasn't prepared and dropped half of her shit. Before I said anything, I bent down to try to pick it up when she got a bit nasty. She said, "Sorry, but hurry up, I've gotta be somewhere." She did say sorry first, so being nice, I picked her shit up and tried to hand it back to her. But she was already walking away and told me to come, like I was a dog. I got pretty annoyed, so I put her stuff on the shelf and walked away myself. A few minutes later, as I got to the register, I hear the clicking of heels and turned just in time to have her walk up to me and ask where her stuff was. I told her I left it on the shelf, and she looked completely confused and asked why. I respond that she could have probably asked politely if she needed help, and she lost it and said, "You're fired." She looked at who must have been the manager and said, "He's fired, you hear me?" The manager just said, he doesn't work here." And the lady replied, "And he won't ever." She said that as she walked away to get her stuff. I paid for my stuff, and the poor cashier was half trying to make sure that I was okay, and half trying not to laugh. She told me the lady was from corporate and is supposed to check up on stores. I really wish I would have said something witty, but I was half in shock at what happened and how poorly this professional woman handled herself. I wasn't going to call corporate because I find this situation almost amusing, but some of you pointed out that people have to work under her, and she likely treats them this way, so I did. Update number 2. I got a call back from a guy on their customer experience team. He was really cool, offered me a bunch of free stuff, which I don't really want, and told me they know without a doubt who was there, but because of her position, his boss would be handling it. He took my exact receipt number to check up with the cashier, and said he would get some things together, and his boss would be calling me to follow up. Update number 3. The VP of customer service called me today. He was extremely down to earth and apologetic. He understood that I didn't want anything, and my concern was more for how this woman would treat employees, and how she would likely get away with it. He agreed, but already refunded me my purchase to my card before calling me. He described the woman to me, and I confirmed it was her. He said she does indeed work for corporate, but is part of a team of contracted consultants. His first reaction would be to fire her. He said these particular consultants have nothing to do with customer service, and should have zero control and little contact with employees in the store, except department managers. This particular company's contract is reviewed quarterly, and he's already asked her company to remove her from the next round of renewals. He doesn't know what action her company will take against her, if any. Maybe it's not the best result, but I was glad to get an honest answer. I honestly wasn't even gonna complain if not for you guys pointing out how store employees could be treated. So yeah, she fired me. And not only did I not work there, she was a contractor and couldn't fire me if I did. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed these stories today. If you want to submit your own stories, my Discord server is in the link below. Also, if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. See you guys in the next one.